बोले सोने हाल सासरी अकाल।
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Welcome to Encounters. This is the first of several election specials. I will be attempting to interview all of the prospective candidates for MPs in the forthcoming election on the 8th of June. If you haven't registered to vote yet, please register to vote, unless you prefer austerity or you like the status quo. If you want change, change only comes at the ballot box. This is a democracy, and Sikh values, democratic values, are very few and far between when it comes to differences. So kicking off with the most Panthik, outwardly Panthik, I wouldn't want to, disrespect any of the other candidates, but the most outwardly Panthik and the most recognisably Panthik candidate of them all, with me today is independent Panth Party candidate, Jagmeet Singh.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Baji, I hope I've done you justice with my introduction.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If I haven't, please take a moment to explain who you are, what you are, and what you represent.
Simply enough, I'm just a Sevadar of the Panth. So whatever needs to be done, wherever I need to do Seva, wherever I'm blessed to do Seva, wherever I get to do Seva, I'm happy to do it. And if I'm not blessed to do it, I'm happy just to continue my life and just do whatever Maharaj really wants me to do. So above all things, I'm a family man. I'm just people's brother. I just try to live a very decent life and be open to what Guruji wants me to do, and just think how I can best add value to society. So that's one of the main things I think that, especially coming into Sikhi, that I've learnt, especially about the Khalsa. One thing I really realized about the Khalsa is it's not just a philosophy, it's an action, it's a doing. It's a being, a living, and you can only do that by, getting up and going out and doing something and trying things. So that may be as simple and beautiful as going to Pandey Seva in the Gurdwara Sahib, Jore Seva. What better thing can you do? Or just being active inside Guruji's house. Or it could just be that you are nicer to people in a more genuine way and try to brighten their life in that little way. That's what also Guruji wants. So I think it's taking Sikh principles and Sikh ethos and applying it to life and just seeing where that takes you.
So being truthful, but higher still is truthful living.
Yeah, exactly.
Guru Nanak's philosophy.
Yeah.
So Baji, that isn't something that we just stumble across. That's a realization of self. How long has it been since you had that realization?
I think I'm still having it. I mean,
of course, yeah.
Because I think you can have an inkling of an idea, and then as you move through life, life reveals itself to you. Guru reveals themselves to you.
Yeah.
So I think number one is keep the best sangat that you can around you. People that are much better than yourself. And when I say better, people that are, have Guruji as the focus of their life. That, is going to bring you closer to the truth, because the sangat that you keep is ultimately, even in anything you do, I mean, a fact of life is you're going to be like the 5 people that you spend the most time with, whether they're negative or positive. So if you're spending all the time in the pub, hanging out with your mates, you're going to have one kind of life. If you're pursuing people like that are actually doing better than you in fields that you'd like to get involved in, be it seva, be it politics, be it anything, you should be around them learning and also trying to give, so it's finding that balance.
But those 5 people in the pub could just as well be doing Pandey Seva on a Sunday.
100%. So it's not to say to judge, it's just to say, one thing I've realized, especially in my life, is time is very valuable.
Yeah.
One thing is the years are swimming by, they're running by, and I'm not saying that we have to have a master plan and say, I'm not going to do that. Just walk your path, and even, let's say, inside that pub, you can bring light there too.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that there's only darkness there. I'm saying try to illuminate wherever you go, and that can kind of help others lift their spirits in a way. So you try to bring the best out of others and enjoy each other's fragrance, because I think every human being intrinsically, either we can bring each other down or we can build each other up. So if you're a builder, then it just I think it makes life more worthwhile. It's about seva. It comes back to giving, and I don't think you can ever regret it. That's the main thing. You can't lose giving.
You can't. At what point because you've been giving for several years now. You've been giving your time, and the prachar and the seva that you've been giving your time towards has been basics of Sikhi. What got you into that? Was that the same ethos? Was that something needs to be done? What was that?
No, not at all. I feel actually I didn't give a thing to Basics of Sikhi. What I did was
time.
No. I took from them. They gave to me so much. Like I feel like so indebted to Everything's 13, Basics of Sikhi, all the team members from the very top to the very bottom. I mean, every single one of them has helped transform and change my life. You know when I talk about Sangat?
Yeah.
That was a Sangat. Even just going to the Gurdwara, even the people, the armed Sangat that comes to the Gurdwara programs, they just transform your life. Because they're not there to mess around and have whatever. They're not there for any other reason but to get something positive, you know? So being around them, you just want to be the dust of the feet of those beautiful people. And they don't have to be quote-unquote good Sikhs. They can be anybody that has that desire for truth and love and guru. So Basics of Sikhi really was my introduction into Sikhi. About 4 or 5 years ago when I was trying to find out what a Sikh is, I had no idea. I was Munna myself. A lot of people do know my story.
Only 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, only 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, obviously I was born in a Punjabi household.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I was one of these I know-it-alls, you know. I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't name you all 10 gurus. I couldn't, you know, if you had questioned me any further than, yes, I know, yeah, the house of cards would have fallen down. But you know, the beautiful sevadars at Basics of Sikhi, when they made in such bite-sized, easy-to-digest videos that you could enjoy and delve into at your own leisure and go at your own pace, then I found out who Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and all our 10 Gurus, Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj really is. Then I figured out who, just conceptually, what the point of life is. And it totally blew my mind. And I thought, you know what? I've been searching for the truth my entire life. I've looked every direction. I've read so many books. I've gone to so many, you know, other doors. And the ultimate truth was right there at home, you know? And I felt so thankful. So I think it starts from a place of thankfulness. Once you have thankfulness in your heart and your mind, even if you have nothing, everything changes. Everything gets transformed. So to answer your question, I don't think I've given much to Basics of Sikhi. What I've done is I've recycled. So what they've given me, I've digested, I've implemented, I've really brought it into my soul as best I could because it touched me, and then I've given back what they've given me. So I think I'm better off in the deal, you know? And the seva of Basics of Sikhi, from what I've seen, has grown so amazingly. And looking from 2020 vision, hindsight, you can see it's totally all Guruji, plan by one, the dominoes, you know, to where it is now. At the youth is taking over, you know. The people that were enjoying and learning, they're leading, you know. So it's absolutely beautiful, and my head always drops to them. I love them, and I wish them the very best and thank them from the bottom of my heart.
So as it stands, the members, obviously there's 3 high-profile members, yourself included. That are no longer
I would say
part
the
of
most
the project.
No. I would say the most high-profile members would be obviously Bhai Sahib Jagraj Singh Ji,
absolutely,
Bhai Sahib Baljit Singh Ji, and then we have Mr. Beautiful Harnam Singh from Canada. He's so beautiful, a young man. Every time I'm around him, like when I first heard him speak, I was blown away. I thought, and he's been like reading Gurbani since he could almost talk. Yeah. You know, so it's like, I wish that for my child.
Oration skills are,
you know,
next level.
So I'm like, wow. And like every time he like says any word in Punjabi or Gurbani, he'll break down the meaning of like every letter almost, and just blows your mind. Think, thank you for that knowledge, Bhai Sahib.
Syllable-wise, absolutely.
We've got they've got their Sarup Singh and Sukhdeep Singh and a whole host of other sevadars coming through. So the beautiful thing about Basics of Sikhi right now is, there's so much going on that you almost don't know what is going on.
Absolutely.
Because they're just busy doing the work. And then it may be like, let's say, years from now, we see the videos that they're producing even now,
Yeah.
and the seva they're doing. But
that progression
lives.
is taking place
Yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah,
with the
definitely.
high-profile people
Yeah.
beginning to.
But for myself, I was actually accidentally high profile. It was never anybody's master plan, or it really shouldn't have happened. You know,
Oh, it should have happened.
Well, Maharaji's Kirpa, like
it was nobody's decision.
Yeah, well, let's call it beyond all odds. You
Yeah.
know, it's like a Cinderella story of sorts. You know, I was the guy behind the camera, holding the camera, and back in the early days, Maharaji Kirpa tried to help organize things, run the back office. But it turned out I was not very good at organizing and running the back office. So I tried my very best. I was like, Maharaj, give me the seva. I'm going to do my very best. And I think that's kind of how I try to live my life. Because it's up to me. I would think, oh, I really can't do anything. It's up to me. I'd be paralyzed and just sit in bed and say, you know what, leave it. It's not for me.
Yeah, that's what we have to
But
deal with it.
my trust in Guruji says, you know, I know I can get from point A to point B, but Guruji can see to Z. I'll just trust Guruji to do it. I'll just do what I can see to do. And you never know where life is going to take you is the beautiful thing. You could zig, you could zag, you have to go with the flow. And Bhai Jagraj Singh Ji, he was the one that actually said, Jagmeet, go and do street prachar. And I begrudgingly, I was like, who am I to do street prachar? I don't know anything. And then we were doing it, we were having a really good time, and the kirpa happened. You know, I realized actually I know enough to tell somebody that has zero knowledge,
Yeah.
or less than zero, they've got misconceptions. So I thought, this much seva I can do. So I try to, like everybody that I meet, whether they're Punjabi, whether they just heard about Sikhs, whether they have, if they feel they have no knowledge, I say, you never know what knowledge you have until you try to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
even that process of teaching, it teaches you. So I learned that myself. So I've learned not to trust myself, but to trust the process, and in turn trust Guruji. And I think that's where the ultimate power lies.
One of those instances of where you had to teach somebody something that you were not expecting to teach, that natural progression, so to speak, was, I'm not sure I've ever heard you speak about it, other than when it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you were in a town centre somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
and somebody had walked by
Yeah.
and had commented on that sort, why are you wearing a knife?
Yeah.
And you were not forced to, but you were given the opportunity to.
Yeah.
To explain to that person the difference between a sword, a dagger, and a
Yeah.
kirpan,
Yeah.
a silly sev.
Hanji.
How did that come about? And not off camera. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? We all seen how it came
I'll
about.
tell you exactly.
We all seen your response
I'll tell you
to
exactly. It's like, for me, I just have a mindset of follow the process.
Yeah.
Don't think about it, just follow the process. So we were just setting up for street prachar. So we set up the table, and then almost immediately, this is a Hounslow High Street,
it. Yeah.
almost immediately, I think it was about January time, it was a bit cold outside, and a police officer came over to me, a woman. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to tell her about Sikhi. You know, I didn't know, I don't even think the cameras were on, or they were setting them up.
They were setting them up.
Yeah, it was something going on where they're setting them up, and I thought, I just love to talk about Sikhi. Like, even today, I feel only alive if I'm telling somebody about Sikhi. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, I try to keep my mouth shut, or if we're having a conversation, like, I'm not interested anymore, really, you know? Like, Sikhi, like, I feel high, you know? Not because my goal is, you know, if you ever watched a good movie, a movie that just blew your mind,
Yeah.
like the ending was amazing, like it had sequel, it just, and you want to say, oh, go watch that movie, mate. You know, when you get that, you
Yeah,
know, I read a good book.
Yeah.
Go read this book, or I discovered this great program. Please watch this. You have that feeling that you want
sense of euphoria.
Yeah. So that's what Sikhi is like to a billion times for me.
Yeah.
So it's transformed my life and touched me so deeply that I want to just share that with somebody else in hopes that in whatever way their lives may be touched. So that's my main thing. So I was telling the police officer about Sikhs, and then it was like about 10, 15 minutes into it, you know, and I wasn't doing a great job, by the way. If you watch the video, I wasn't doing any kind of deep analysis of anything. I was the very basics, you know, just trying to get my language down.
Yeah.
Just to teach myself how to talk about Sikhi. And to
Oh, was that one of your earlier? Had you not been doing prachar, street prachar?
No,
for
that
long
was,
at that point?
I mean, it was into it, but it was in the early days.
Yeah.
And I would still say it's in the early days. I'm nowhere in the advanced ages yet. I'm still in the early ages. So we were just going through it. And as soon as I said, it just occurred to me, I'm going to say to her, oh, do you know about this? And I love our Qurbans. I love our Shaftar.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed from Guruji that we are allowed to wear them in England, because I've spent time in Europe traveling sometimes, and some of these countries, like what happened in Italy just recently,
Absolutely.
they've completely banned it.
Yep.
And that to me is heartbreaking in the year 2017. And some places you have to hide like you're actually a criminal, where you're almost like a police officer hiding.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Akaal Central, isn't it? So I just wanted to make sure she knew, and actually she said that she doesn't know why we carry them. And I kind of had that feeling because I've talked to a bunch of people before.
Yeah.
So I just thought...
But she was aware it was legal.
She knew it was illegal.
She just didn't know why.
But I thought I wanted to tell her the significance. So let's say she stops somebody one day, she treats it with respect.
Yeah.
Or she's having a conversation with somebody else in the office or in the department. She can spread that knowledge on herself. And then this beautiful old man, I love that old man. He just walked by and you can see him kind of looking. And like you can see Guruji orchestrating everything. I'm telling her and he sees it.
He's waiting for you to get handcuffed.
Yeah. And he's
at one point.
Oh, it's a knife. And I thought, right. What I appreciate about him is he echoed the sentiments of a vast amount of people in the population.
Absolutely.
Some people just wouldn't say it. And so I appreciated him actually saying something. And then it's up to us not to take offense. So I feel anybody can say anything to anybody. It's your choice to be offended or not.
Absolutely.
So you have the choice to how to control yourself. I'll tell you something else real quick though. I'm not a very calm person in real life. In real life, a traffic jam can get me all worked up, So in these certain situations, it's pure kirpa. So it's not like, Jagmeet Singh's naturally inclined to be calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
No. Like you can see, there's Guruji keeping you calm and relaxed, and Maharaji's kirpa again. So blessings to Guruji for it. And then it just provided that chance for a conversation, And the objections he had, I knew how to handle them because I had thought about these things deeply in my heart, And I think, basis of Sikhi's motto is arm yourself with knowledge.
Yeah.
And so we should arm ourselves with our Shaftar. We should be ready to defend somebody's honor to the death. But number one, we should arm ourselves with knowledge in all walks of life. And I've actually, in the political arena, I'm doing that now. I've got to arm myself with even more knowledge so I can be more effective and help people in the way that they need to be helped. So,
well, the Shastra, according to Guruji's hukum, is only the last resort.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot of people that don't quite see the distance and the number of things involved between explaining something to somebody and then drawing your Qurban from its
Yeah,
Mian.
definitely.
There is a world between those two things.
Definitely.
And it's only a lack of knowledge that makes you rush from one to the other. It's A to Z
100%.
has 25 letters between it.
The beautiful thing it does is it takes away your excuse. So let's say you've gone through the process of A to Z.
Yeah.
They've got their weapons out, and they're about to hurt somebody else even, right?
Absolutely.
And then you can say, well, I would help if only I was armed.
Absolutely.
And Guruji said, stay armed.
Yeah.
So if you don't help, it's on you fully 100%, because at the end of the day, we both know we're going to be accountable.
Yeah.
So I think we should always have in our heart that Maharaj gives us the opportunity to do the right thing. So if we have that in our heart, Maharaj, present me the opportunity, and then I beg you, help me live up to what I'm supposed to do. And then you realize it's all Guruji. And all we can do is depend on them for everything.
But so you've gone through this street prachar, you've learned Sikhi from sort of early adulthood, adolescence, late adolescence, early adulthood, to end up doing street prachar and being one of these figureheads of basics of Sikhi. At one point, you were invited, because of the street prachar and the effectiveness of getting the Sikh message to such a wide audience internationally. You've been noticed by the BBC. The BBC have invited you on to see television shows. At that point, did it ever occur to you that you had, not yourself, but Basics of Sikhi, or Everything's 13, had managed to do something that had spread a message of Guru Nanak that had been in the UK since like the early 1950s, late 1940s. that you had reached parts of the UK in such a short space of time that hadn't been reached in decades. And all of a sudden, you were being asked to give the Sikh point of view on programs that would normally only have Judaism, Islam and Christianity discussing things on a Sunday morning. You were invited to one of those. Did that, at any point, did it dawn on you that what you had achieved in such a relatively small space of time, how significant that was?
100%. I understood the significance of the seva of basis of Sikhi. And for when I say that, at the time, it was mainly by Jagmeet Singh ji and by Baljeet Singh ji.
Absolutely.
So fully, I could see clearly their seva and what they did and what they meant to me and what they meant to the Sangat. But I never internalized that I was, well, no. The truth is I was never at that level. I was the small cog that was happy to be along for the journey. And that's the truth internally, and it should be the truth externally.
Absolutely.
So I was very just blessed to be around them. And in my heart, I always had, you know what? I want to be the guy that takes a bullet for the team. You know, I thought if anything happens to the team, let it be to me. Never these two. These two are the ones that they're doing the Pant Seva, and that we got to keep them. Like I was just in awe of them because of what Guruji had done to them and what they had given to Guruji. They had given themselves to Guruji, and that's what I loved about them both. And I still love to this day and respect that about them. So it's not about individual personalities or who people are themselves intrinsically. It's actually, my love for anybody would be what they've done for Guruji, what they've given to Guruji, and what Guruji's done for them. Like if you can see that about a person, then you can never go wrong, I think. And then that's what I like to chase, and that's what I like to put myself around. But when I went on the BBC, number one thing I did was I tried to get somebody else on there. I tried to get by Jagmeet Singh.
Rather than yourself?
Yeah, because I thought, who am I to do street prachar? Who am I to do anything else?
Was the contact was made with yourself?
Yeah, the funny thing about it was there was a gentleman named Danny Kendrick, and he was the gentleman that married the Uppany. And they had some friction within the Sikh community. And I was on a BBC London radio program with them, and within 5 minutes of meeting each other, just a conversation that we had, he realized actually Sikhs are not the problem. Sikhi is not the problem. He shouldn't be made to feel isolated in any way. And he was made to feel welcomed just by us explaining, what our ethos is and our ethics is. And that is one of my main goals that I'm trying to do with this new initiative by getting involved in politics, to let the greater British public and the beautiful people of Wolverhampton South West and Wolverhampton know what Sikhs can do for them, who we are, what our relationship is. Because at the end of the day, if we can serve others, if we can provide and add value to their lives, then they're going to help us, and they're going to want to be a part of us too. That's what happened with Danny and I. And actually, if you watch that BBC program, it was Danny and his wife and their little baby, I believe. She was pregnant at the time. They're the ones that gave him my number. And so they contacted me. I thought it was a basis of Sikhi thing. So I tried actually getting the real basis of Sikhi Pracharaks on. They didn't want them. So I said, okay, obviously I'm going to go. I have to do the seva. And when I got on there, I didn't feel like it was it was a rude awakening what happened on that show. Because we got on live, and I felt they were really butchering and attacking Sikhi in a vile way. It wasn't a let's get to the truth. It was a let's make the Sikh people look like they're racist, arrogant people. So I'm on there, and I look around, and I thought, well, look, I'm actually the only Sikh here, and I will defend my guru and faith till a dying breath. And my only desire, my only thought that I had, the predominant thought I had, was the Anant Karaj issue, the stopping of the weddings and the protests of the weddings. I thought at the heart of that is stopping Beadabi, disrespect to our living Guru, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. So obviously any Sikh that has love for their Guru is not going to want to have their Guru disrespected. And they've gone through a whole process of talking to committees, of trying to stop things well before, and this is like, again, a last resort. So it's never a first resort, it's a last resort, even in this case. And at that same time, a lot was going in Punjab. And I tried to keep as knowledgeable about what's going on with Sikhs and around the world as general.
Like the Italian thing.
Like the Italian thing, exactly. Because we're all one Panth at the end of the day, and we're one world. So we have to think about everybody. And at that time, Singhs were being shot and killed in the street. By Jaspal Singh was shot, a 19-year-old engineering student.
Burgadi was happening at that point.
I'm sorry?
Burgadi was happening at that point.
A lot was going on. And I was going to say conversationally on the show, look, to stop disrespect of our living guru, we don't have a holy book, we have a living guru.
Yeah.
Big difference, right? We respect holy books, but we don't have one. We have a actual living guru, and we're willing to sacrifice our lives. So then you can understand what is going on. Sikhs are dying over there for the protection and the honor of their guru. So obviously we hold it just as dear here, that honor and love and respect. And the host, Sean Williams, she actually didn't give me an opportunity to speak. And what happened is our segment was cut short about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So before going on, they said, don't worry, you're going to have your time, we're running late. And then when I was trying to stand up for what Sikhs believe in and put right, wrong statements they had made, she said, hang on, I'll come back to you. So I thought, you know what? I've got to be respectful. Nobody wants to give Sikhs a bad name.
Yeah.
We're on international, national television here. Let's be respectful as we can. She told me she's going to come back to me. So I literally bit my tongue. And I said, okay, I didn't like that point. That person is wrong. That person is wrong. That person is wrong. And I could have gone around and just annihilated them because they were not saying very nice things about Sikhs, right? And they were being fallacious purposely. And then Sean Williams, she didn't come back to me. And at that time, I thought she was cutting to break. And then I thought, no, she's actually going to the next segment. It's all over. And then it was about a good minute. And internally, I thought, look, if I've come on national television and I haven't spoken the truth to power, if I haven't done the right thing, then shame on me. And in that moment, I thought, look, even if I'm finished in life, even if I have to leave the country, even if first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distance myself from base and Sikhi because they're more important than I ever was. So these are the things I said. I said this, and then Guruji just took over, and I had to stand up, and I just want to get that one sentiment out there that Sikhs are dying in Punjab, and the BBC and none of the UK media, none of the international media, everybody was ignoring it. And I thought, what an atrocity, what a disservice to the British people. So what I did on the BBC was a service to the white man, the brown man, the black man, the everyday man that is being lied to in the way that they're not being told the truth by their mainstream media.
Or lie by admittance.
Exactly.
Not a lie.
Well, you know what? If you know the truth and you hide the truth, there's a fine line between ignorance and purposefully suppressing the truth. So that's why I say it does come into a lie. So I felt I was doing a service not only to the Sikh faith and to the Panth, because that's where my allegiance lies. And I tell you why my allegiance lies there, because the Panth, the Sikhs are here to serve the whole world. So it actually comes back to the British public, the public that I want to serve in Wolverhampton South West and the whole of Wolverhampton and nationally. So it comes back to them. So, and what happened on social media after what happened there? Guruji's blessing.
Absolutely.
It could have gone one way. It could have been, this is the worst guy ever.
You invited back on the BBC.
Yeah, get rid of him. And I would have just said, you know what, I am sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect, and actually said that to her. Yeah. I didn't mean to disrespect you or the so, but when the truth needs to be said, when we have to stand up for what is right, you have to do that, regardless of yourself.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to pretend I'm Sean Williams.
Yeah.
But I will come back to you.
Sure.
I promise.
No problem, sir.
So we're just going to quickly cut to a break. We'll be back straight after that, and we're going to talk politics and the election with Jagmeet Singh. So join us in a minute. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Anji, and welcome to our very, very brand new show, After Hours, because here we'll be covering the topics which are not normally covered during the hours.
Akaal badam kha ke nahi aandi, Akaal thokra kha ke aandi.
Thokra kha ke aandi, bilkul. As long as you're working, you will find a way to kind of get back onto your own feet.
But some people, they like to use their power, even they haven't got it.
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह प्यारे दर्शकों अकाल चैनल 843 एक नवा प्रोग्राम लैके आप जी की सेवा दे विच हाज़र हो रहा है। ये प्रोग्राम ऐतवार सवेरे 8 बजे तो लैके 9 बजे तक आप दी सेवा दे विच पेश किया जाएगा। इस प्रोग्राम दे विच आपसी विचारां होया करनगियां, आप जी दियां फोन कॉल होया करनगियां, आप जी दे विचार जानन वास्ते ते इहदे विच असीं ताज़ियां तो ताज़ियां खबरां असीं आप जी दे नाल सांझियां करिया करांगे। सो वेखना ना भुलना 843 ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਹਰੇਕ ਐਤਵਾਰ 8 ਤੋਂ 9 ਦੇ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨੇ ਹਾਲ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Welcome back. And before the break, we were discussing your journey, basically who you are and where you've come from, what you've learnt, and your journey has taken you from surviving yourself of a life you were living, discovering Sikhi, serving those who had allowed you to experience that truth, then helping them back.
Vaiguru.
And as you say yourself, you gave them more than they could possibly have given you. Sorry,
No.
the other way around.
The
I
other way around.
apologise. They had given you, you had taken
Yeah.
more than you could possibly ever have.
But that's the Guru.
given
The
back.
Guru's a giver.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Guru's a giver.
But he's now given you the ultimate opportunity,
Vaiguru.
and that is the actual Sarbata Dapala. At the moment, you've served the Sikh Panth and those who were thirsty to learn of the Sikh Panth and Sikhi in all of its glory. Now you're attempting to stand as an MP for Wolverhampton South.
Southwest.
Southwest, sorry. The first question has to be, why?
The answer is because nobody else is doing it.
Nobody else.
If somebody else in Wolverhampton
Yeah.
had Sikh ethos and Sikh values and Sikh ethics, I would not be doing it. I was praying and looking for somebody else to get involved, especially in Wolverhampton, because Wolverhampton is my hometown.
Yeah.
We own a home there. We're raising our child there. My brother lives there with his family, and I want what's best for the people of Wolverhampton South West and the whole of the Wolverhampton area, and the whole of the Midlands and the whole of the UK. You know, I want what's best for society, and Maharaj's Kirpa, I started getting in touch with people that are heavily involved in politics for many, many decades and done a lot of seva for over a number of years in the background that you may not see in the forefront, but they have a lot of knowledge. So I got in contact with them and I kept my ear to the ground. And I wanted to actually get involved in politics in the support system. So whoever was going to be the Sikh MP that was going to be that put forward.
You were going to hold the proverbial camera again.
No. I was actually be on the front end of the camera this time and help, let's say, champion and hit the drum.
Yeah, absolutely.
And say, help this person. Let's get involved. Because my eyes were opened over the last 18 months to what the reality of politics is. That real change and real people can make a difference. And it came from the most unlikely place. We can talk about it later. Brexit and the rise of Trump were the two things that inspired me to finally get into politics, which I never thought was a winning game until now. I really do feel that the ordinary man, if he has the blessing and the backing of the community, can do anything. And together we can change everything. So, go ahead.
Are you suggesting Trump's an ordinary man?
No.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting Trump's an ordinary man in any way, but what he's done for me and what Brexit did for me, these two things, it showed me democracy is alive and well and real in the modern day. Because as you know, I was born and raised in England.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in America. I've come back here about 10, 12 years now. And I always was of the mindset, it doesn't matter who's in charge, the powers that be have made their decisions behind closed doors and shaken hands already. You know, Tory or Labour, I didn't see much change. Democrat or Republican, Obama, the great hope. We're in just as many wars, if not more, than Bush. He was a great PR man. Personally, I like him.
He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner within his first 3 months of being a president.
I think first few weeks, he was preemptively given the prize and immediately increased the amount of war there was. So, as a personality, Obama's beautiful, good man. Even I think maybe he had good intentions, but the system is so corrupt. There's so much going on behind the scenes that is difficult, even at the top, for a man to make a difference.
Do you believe that the system's that corrupt?
I do believe that, but I don't believe it's now. I don't believe that it's irreversible. What I believe, even here in the UK, it's going to take individuals to stand up and that are not power hungry, that do not want, are not getting into it for the wrong reasons. People that want to actually see real positive change for their families and their community. If people come and they bring that energy, we can change the system. Mr. Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders would have been the greatest thing that happened to America and the world had he won. But I'm of no disillusion.
He didn't win the primary.
No, I'll explain to you. Had he won, he was primed to win the primary until the Democratic National Convention, the bosses that be, actually played some hokey pokey behind the scenes and
The superdelegates.
politically got rid of him and put Hillary Clinton forward. So there's a lot of politics that went on behind the scenes, and Bernie got shafted. But even, I'm just saying,
By his own party.
by his own party. That's fact. That's political fact. He was loved by the people. He had a grassroots campaign, much like we have. We have a grassroots campaign that locally and nationally everybody is excited, and we're raising a ton of money already by small individuals. And this money is going to go to fight this battle that we have to fight right now. So my point is, had Bernie come into power, he would have only been able to take in the American system so far, but he would have sparked the change that would have got other people that have his same ethics involved and say, you know, I can get into politics and make a change too. So it may have taken a number of years, but he would have been, and he in a number of ways he has achieved that. He is that person that now other people that are of moral character, that are not politicians per se, but humanitarians first. Right? Yeah. So if you're a humanitarian first and want to make a positive change, that's the kind of people that I want to see get involved in politics. And that's my reason for now wanting to get involved. Because you have to get in the trenches to make a difference. And at the end of the day, being Khalsa, if we're part of the Khalsa Panth, we have to fight wars. We have to get out there and sacrifice ourselves. And there may not be bullets flying up, across our heads right now, but these are proverbial bullets. We have to get in and fight the battles. And I'm praying, even through this, more better qualified people are going to wake up throughout the country and say, you know what, I want to get involved. So that's one of the main reasons. To answer your question, again, quite briefly, we put so many great people forward to Labour because Rob Maris has stepped down in that constituency. Yep. They totally shoved us away from the table. They basically...
Eleanor Smith standing.
Eleanor Smith.
For Labour.
Personally, I like her. She's a lovely woman. I've met her, spent some time with her. She's a nice person. But the Sikhs helped Rob Maris get elected in 2015 against Paul Uppal with a majority of 801.
Was that wise?
It was wise, I tell you why. Because for me, I tell you, it's not just about having a Sikh face. I'm not saying to anybody, vote for me because I'm a Sikh or I've got a turban and a beard. I'm not saying for everybody, because I'm a part of this club, vote for me. I'm saying judge a book by what the content is inside it. So find out what the person is saying, and I mean across the board. Every single person that's standing right now, you should analyze their track record, number one. So I don't want to demonize somebody else, because their track record can do that for themselves. Yeah. Paul Uppal, God bless him, he's been in power for 5 years. So my benti, my request humbly is to ask everybody.
He wasn't in power per se, he was a member of parliament for 5 years.
Well, that is quite a powerful position.
It is within his constituency.
There you go. You know
not within Parliament.
Well, you're going to prove my point for me. Yeah. Because Paul Uppal is actually just a small cog in a massive,
very large
machinery of the Conservative Party. Yeah. So in a way, I don't want to use the word puppet, but he has a lot of people to account to. He has to listen to elders, listen to his party. Ourselves now trying to take the power back into our own hands and actually serve the people. My goal is to serve the good people of Wolverhampton South West and the constituency that I'm running in, and the constituency I live in, and the city that has taken me in and made me their own. So I'm there to serve the people, and I'm not going to answer to anybody but the people and the national good. So we need somebody in Parliament that is willing. So number one, I've proven that I am willing to speak truth to power.
In Parliament, though, for significant change to occur, it being a parliamentary democracy, it's going to take more than one person. If, for example, a vote was to take place tomorrow to increase UK involvement in Syria, would you be for or against that?
What I'd have to do is first research everything. I'd have to understand what I'm getting into. It's quite difficult to answer hypotheticals when you don't have all of the information, right? So
as it stands,
I'm not for more war. I'm for less war, but I am for helping others. If it's absolutely necessary, we must take action.
Okay.
But what I am for is letting the will of the people being heard, and let the compassion be our guiding force.
But you would only be one person and one vote.
No.
In
I would not be
650.
only one person and one vote. I'd be a loud, powerful voice that can spark change. Because you know what?
In a parliamentary democracy, if you were to vote on war, you would be standing alone as an independent.
Well, the thing that you're not in that scenario,
Yeah.
you have to understand that being in the House of Parliament, you have to make a lot of relationships.
Absolutely,
it's a
yeah.
people business, you could
Yep.
say. So you have to engage
The
people.
party alliances.
But the thing is, politics fundamentally is about ideas. It's just a game of ideas. So you're going to sell me your ideas, I'm going to sell you my ideas, and I'm going to tell you why my ideas are going to help the wider society and the wider people. Now take Jeremy Corbyn, for example. He's been praised now for the stands he's been taking for 30 years.
Yeah.
So for 30 years, he may have been ignored. In the 80s, he may have been arrested even for standing up for civil liberties. But when we look back at his track record, although he may not have made an impact at that moment in time, he stood for the truth, and that's having a massive impact now. So I'm of the mindset that if you remain aligned to the truth, if you remain aligned to the fundamentals that you stand firm with for the people, by the people, then ultimately you cannot lose. And what is the opposite of that? Are we just going to have a whole bunch of yes men? So the powers that be, like with Tony Blair, just go into war after war after war, and then say afterwards, well, actually, I was just going off of bad information. What I'm saying is, we need more people that are going to say, no, this is wrong, and these are the reasons why.
Isn't Jeremy Corbyn leading that party? That is thinking exactly that. That change is coming.
I support that for him.
If he wins.
If he wins. The unfortunate thing about the Labour Party right now is, in fact, I support a lot of the ideals of the Labour Party. I'm not against the Labour Party per se. I really wish the best for Preet Kaur in Edgbaston. I really wish the best for Jagmeet Singh in Slough. And the rest of the Sikhs that have been picked by Labour. Unfortunately, some of them, because the majorities are so against them, there may not be much in there. But I still wish them the best of luck regardless. But in Wolverhampton South West, that's not the case. If you look at, you can log on to electoralconsensus.com right now and look at the consensus, look at all the pundits are saying the Conservatives have won it by a landslide. In fact, I bet... Paul Uppal, unfortunately. But I tell you, you'd be hard-pressed to get Paul Uppal on a show like this, because actually...
He's been on Encounters twice.
But when was that?
The last time before the election,
right?
And the documents, at the time the documents had been released.
I encourage him.
But I've spoken to him late last week.
Right.
And he will be on the show.
Fantastic. I want him to be on the show, and I want you to ask the questions that the public wants to know, what he actually has done. And obviously now I'm quite involved within the local politics of Wolverhampton, and the rumblings are that the Conservatives, they're actually trying to not campaign, because the more campaigning they do, the lower it goes. So they're depending on just herd mentality right now. I'll just tell you what the people are saying and what the rumblings are in politics.
That's what you've been. This is my
experience. This is my experience, right? And Labour, Eleanor Smith, I do like her as a human being, right? But they actually have no chance of winning right now. So people are concerned, is an independent vote going to split the vote? No, it's not going to. Because Labour's not going to win there anyway. Paul Uppal is going to win in that landslide, according to the pundits, unless the people have their voice heard. So what we have to do, my brother, I'll tell you, what we have to do is we have to present new ideals and new ideas, new ethics. Let the people know who can serve them best. And you know what? I've been a small business owner. I've developed my own businesses. I've been I've been at the low end of the wage scale too. I've worked my way up. So I can actually communicate and talk with people and understand their experience and help grow the town and the city the way it needs to be done. So it's up to me to communicate that to them and provide them with a brand new choice. And I tell you the benefit. The benefit is this. If you have one more Conservative, let's say right now the pundits are saying that the Conservatives are going to win by 100 majority. Yeah. Right? That's what they're saying. It could happen, it could not happen. What's one more Conservative over there? Wolverhampton South West has an opportunity, the golden opportunity, to put them on the global map, put them on the national map for being independent, for having a fresh voice, for being progressive, for siding with for truth, for somebody that's going to work hard for them, for somebody that's going to be accountable to them, for somebody that lives in their local area. We've had too many candidates now, so please do ask the questions, that are being parachuted in. They actually have nothing to do with the local people. They're just being parachuted in. They'll do a couple of photo ops.
Is that true for the Sikh candidates?
Yeah. Find out where they live.
That's true for them across the board, regardless of ethnicity.
Well, no, Preet actually lives born and raised in Edgbaston. So she's through and through. She knows the area. Yeah. I live in my constituency. Like I believe he was born and raised in Slough, and then he moved away afterwards. But now he's back. You know, so God bless him.
So he lives there now.
He lives there. Well, actually, either he's buying a house there, but he has deep roots there. Okay. So it's not like he's got nothing to do with it. You know, when I actually
Samir Jassel.
I don't want to comment on everybody because I don't know everybody's personal situation. So it would be unfair for me to comment on them if I don't like to say anything unless I actually have the right information.
Know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I've got no problem saying.
I'd prefer you to do that.
Yeah. And I've got no problem saying, look, let me find out for you. Or the beautiful thing I can tell you, which is the truth.
You're an MP already.
No.
I'll get back to you with the information.
No, I tell you what I'm going to tell you is, we have a team. If I don't have the answer now, I've got a team behind me that does know the information.
That will research that information.
And if they don't know, we're going to find out the information because we're about being accountable. I don't want to tell you one thing now and it turn out to be wrong next day.
Are you concerned in any way of being perceived as an ethnic slanted or a one issue politician?
Just me looking the way I do and the Panth party that's supporting me as an independent candidate, people could think, oh, it's a Sikhs only, Sikh philosophy. No, it's nothing like that. So the first step is going to be to say, look, this is about communicating and expressing what Sikh ethics and Sikh ethos can do for you, the common British person that actually maybe did not know anything about what Sikhs are about before. To me, that would be a massive win.
Do you have long enough to do that?
Certainly I do.
3 weeks before an election?
I tell you why. Because we already have mobilized a small army of local sevadars, local people that are becoming activists within the community. We've got even people that I've spoken to that are of non-Sikh background that can see finally some great hope that there's something new happening here, that there's something exciting happening there. They're getting involved too. So it's not a Sikh movement. This is, the Panth party means, Panth just means a collective of people.
Absolutely.
A collective of people that share the same ideals, that are walking along the same path. And that fundamentally is any political party, right?
So, regardless of what happens at this election, is there plans or is there a possibility of the Panth party in 5 years' time tabling more than one candidate?
Most certainly there is. What the eventual...
Are we seeing the birth of a political party?
I hope it is. But you know what?
Will that be a single ethnicity party?
No. Okay, so I'll give you the example. I was just yesterday talking to Eleanor Smith, the Labour candidate. And even her and I were discussing the internal rumblings and issues inside of Labour. So the unfortunate thing is, if Labour doesn't win, then they're going to go back to the infighting that they have been. And the party could actually split. So where is a woman that is a hard-working minority like Eleanor going to pursue her political career and servitude next? She's not going to go to the Conservatives. And the other parties, they're actually, a lot of them are dead in the water. So the Panth party can be a vehicle for her as a minority, as a person that may share our ideals, to come forward. So this is not specifically you must be from a certain background, or if you share the ideals of compassion, of working hard, of sharing with others, of caring, of actually building a community, and like what I've been doing within my charitable endeavors for the past few years, my mindset has always been bring people of different backgrounds together and unite them. And that's what I got from Sikh
common
ethos.
Platform.
Exactly. So that's what I hope to do in Wolverhampton, because it's such a diverse population there, and there is a lot of it's a melting pot, but there's a lot of room for improvement. And I think I'm well versed and well placed to help bridge a lot of gaps. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
So, Budgie, the one question that the Sikh population would be, because I know you're not, you've clearly just explained how you're not a single issue politician, or you don't plan to be, but within the 5 years there is one pledge that I've been asked to ask of all candidates that are standing that are of Sikh background. That pledge is that if you were made an MP, if you were given that opportunity to serve the constituents of Wolverhampton South West and or the Sikh Panth, would you table a motion, a private member's motion, an EDM, early day motion, that would recognise the events of the first week of November in 1984 as a genocide?
Would I table that?
Would you table that?
What I would do is, I'm looking forward to speaking the truth at every opportunity I get.
That would be absolutely expected of yourself, not maybe of Paula or any other MP. But would you table an EDM that would recognise it in the House of Parliament?
I would push forward anything that recognised the genocides and the atrocities that happened in 1984, because the truth defends itself. I don't mind failing as long as I'm defending the truth and on the side of truth. So if I have to be a champion for the common British man that is a non-Sikh, I'm going to be his champion or her champion or the children's champion. I'm concerned about doing the right thing for the people. And in the case of specifically 1984, the truth is that even the government that be right now will tell you they're suppressing the truth. They're hiding the truth. There's many documents that have come out that have not come out in its entirety. And then when they do come out, they've been hushed. So I'm looking forward to being that voice that can champion and constantly say, no, look, if the British government or anybody has done something, let's get to the truth, because once we expose the truth, we can heal any wounds that need to be healed and become stronger as a society. So my goal is unity for everybody. And it's not going to happen by living in the darkness. The more we shine a light on what actually happened, in an honest way, in even a non-judgmental way. I'm not saying that we need to say, point the finger and wag it and say, you've done this, you've done that. Step one, let's all agree on what the truth is and not shy away from that. So that's the main thing I'm going to be focusing on in regards to those kind of issues, is I will speak truth to power, and I will be a champion for anybody that needs it.
Regardless. So that would be all grieve, or the minors issues,
certainly,
and all of those outstanding issues from previous Conservative governments.
Certainly.
That was 1984 as well.
Yeah.
That all grieve and the miners' strikes. But Buddy, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
We have come to the end of the show. Unfortunately, because I'm enjoying this conversation, I'm sure the people at home are enjoying it also. As a parting message, what would you want the people of the UK and internationally, Sikhs and otherwise, to take away from your candidature, and what do you want them to understand as to what you represent and any help that you require from them? What would you want them to do or say?
So I understand this program is going to be airing in a couple of days. So first and foremost, my request to not only the Sikh community, but the wider British public, and especially those people in Wolverhampton South West, my constituency, regardless of who you want to vote for, or even if you want to vote at all, if you want to be involved, please at least go online, take 5 minutes and register yourself to vote. Yeah. So you give yourself the opportunity that if you choose to do so, your voice can be heard. Please reflect on what's happened in the last 18 months and understand that democracy is alive and well. And if a people, like about 40% of the population that are registered to vote, never end up even voting on election day. So I want to earn your vote. I want to meet you. I want to make sure that you can understand and get to know myself and my policies and what I can do for you as the normal British public. And I want to inspire you to get involved and vote. Nationally and internationally, I would say to you, our world is changing rapidly. If you're a young person, don't feel disheartened. Get involved and actually know and understand you can make a difference. Please like our Facebook page, Jagmeet Singh, Wolverhampton South West. We've got a website coming, and be part of the change. It's very exciting times.
Brilliant. Thank you, Buddy. appreciate you taking time out.
My
I know
pleasure.
you've been busy.
Yeah, it's been
canvassing.
really good.
But again, appreciate you taking time out
Thank you.
and spending an extended show with us
Like,
today. And at home, please, that's what he just said. Google it, www.gov.uk, and register to vote. Vote however your conscience tells you to vote, but vote either way. That is the only way democracy functions. That's all we've got time for. We are getting late for the next show. So, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.